Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. And we've just finished escaping from the confinement area, only to find ourselves in what is called the torture room. It's another escape room that we've got to find a solution for. Let's do it. So... electric chair. Nice. A really creepy chair. The manacles make me think it was used to torture people. We can't open these manacles without a key. If we want to torture someone, we're going to have to find a key. There's some sort of weird symbol on them. What kind of symbol? What kind of symbol? Thank you, Seven. Asking the important questions. Well, if I've got this right, I think it's the sun symbol. Oh. We don't have the sun key, though. Okay, what else we got? That's not important, apparently. These levers have got to turn something on. Of course they would. All they can do is turn something on or off. What's important is what they turn on or off. I don't see the floor is going to suddenly open up. There are a bunch of buttons here with the letters A through F on them. Okay, looks like we're going to be talking about whatever that base number system is. Let's push some of them. Down you go. So we press it again. Back you come. I guess these buttons switch something on or off when you push them. All of the dials are pointing in different directions. Maybe something will happen if we turn them? Ha! Shoot. They're all rusted. I guess turning them doesn't really do anything. It's good to know that they're out. The needle on the gauge is at 0. It doesn't look like we're going. Doesn't look like it's going to move. And RPM. And you've got each of these little dots on. A ton of knobs here. Doesn't seem like any of them do anything though. You think it's broken? Okay, so that's what that is. Oh. Does this open up? Uh-oh. What's wrong, Junpei? What are you doing on the floor? Well, I thought maybe if I go down here, I could see through the glass. It's not working, though. You don't think it's just a large sheet of glass they put into an indentation? I don't know, I mean, why would they do that? And the placement of the chair. You're not making sense, Junpei. What's your point? Well, I'm not sure, but don't you think there's something under the glass? Maybe the glass is one way, like they have in a police station, you know? Or maybe it's just covered with something that makes it opaque. No, it doesn't matter how close I get, I still can't see anything. Echoes when I knock on it, though. I wonder if it's hollow. What is this? There's something on the screen. This device will conduct the experiment. Once the experiment has been completed, the door will unlock. First, adjust the switches to make the blocks in the sample above. Oh, to match the blocks in the sample above. Huh? I don't know what this thing is, but we've got to figure out this puzzle. It's right next to a torture chair. Whatever it is, I don't think it's good. Anyway, we just adjust the switches to match the blocks up on top, right? We adjust the switches shown at the 4 corners of the screen, then press the check button. Junpei, we don't know what this thing does. You can always come back to it later. There are lots of other things you could do. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll check on that in a sec. Whenever you turn on one of these switches, more blocks show up on the screen. So I think you've got to figure out which buttons you have to press in order to get this screen to match the diagram. Yeah, but it's hard to figure out what button does what. If you want to see how many blocks each switch adds, just turn on one switch. Then when all of them are off, there aren't any blocks, right? Then you can see how many blocks each switch adds. Oh yeah, I get it. Well, that makes me want to press one on. Adjust the switches to match the blocks on top, and then press the check button. Alright. Well, that's solved. Adjustment is completed. Now proceeding to execution phase. To complete the experiment, data must be collected from subject. Once preparation is finished, place subject in chair. Whoa, whoa, I thought we solved the puzzle already. What does it mean by preparation? I don't know. I've got a bad feeling about this, though. I think this means one of us has got to sit in the chair. Well, 7's never going to fit in that thing. It's either you or me, Junpei. Collecting data, I wonder if it's going to run electricity through the subject. There's a human head on the screen. Maybe it's going to zap the brain with a little electricity. This really doesn't sound safe. Anyway, let's... we've still got to prepare. We can talk about this after we figured out what it means by preparation, alright? Well, it wants us to prepare, so maybe we ought to ask it what we need to do. Alright, let's leave that for now. Okay, what else we got in this room? There are a number of ominous-looking tools and instruments here. Let's see. We've got an adze, an hammer, a pair of forceps, and these other things are too old and broken. I have no idea what they are. Hey, doesn't this wrench look way too new to be here with all this other stuff? Yes, it does. I didn't notice it before you mentioned it, but it's not rusty at all. Wrench. This wrench looks brand new. Considering where we found it, I have to wonder how it was used. Knock it off. I don't want to think about that. You've already seen plenty of things that are a lot more cruel than that. You're unexpectedly sensitive. Come on, let's not talk about stuff that doesn't matter, okay? We need to find somewhere where we can use this thing. Okay, so we got the wrench. Sure. What's this? Oh, this looks like a wrench could do this. This cover's bolted on there pretty good. Should be able to get those bolts off with this wrench we just found, though. Sweet, it's open. The hole's too small, you can't see in, even with the cover off. Well, you can't see in, but I think there's enough room to stick your arm in. Are you sure you want to do that? There could be something dangerous in there. Okay, I admit that scares me a little, but we need to see if there's anything useful in there. Here we go. Arm into the hole. Arm is chopped off. Hey, I think I can feel something. It's small, cold and hard. Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. Alright, let's see what this thing is. Is that a sun key? Oh yeah, it does say sun key. A key with a sun symbol on it. We should be able to open the other door with this. Yeah, but we've got to get out of this room before we can do that. We're probably going to need this sun key to do that. But none of the doors in the room have keyholes. I bet we've got to use it on something that's not a door. Cool. So, what's next then? Was there a key on here? I can see some oil or something down there at the base of the lever. Yeah, it feels like it's got some movement to it. Should be able to pull this one. Alright, let's pull the lever. Alright. Is that water? What the hell? What's going on? Will you calm down? It's just water going somewhere. It sounds like it's underneath us. That means the floor. Oh! Junpei, look! What's she? Oh, damn. I can see through the glass now. Oh, okay. EDBF. Oh, okay. So turn those buttons on here. EDBF. What? There's a strange noise coming from the chair. It looks like it's been turned on. I guess the puzzle here was that the power had to be sent in a specific way. Okay. Oh yeah, there's locks on here. Can they be opened with the key? There we go. The sun key should fit into the keyhole of these manacles. Alright, sun key, in you go. And yes! Great, they're open. I don't think we're going to need the sun key again in here, though. Just seems unlikely. I don't know why you would say that with so much confidence. Alright, sun key, you've done your job. Into my pocket with you! Alright. So, is that the prep done? Do we need to speak to this little guy? If a Australian device is unlocked, please seat subject in device. The message on the screen was disturbingly detached. Well, like we thought, it's not going to work unless someone sits in it. How ironic that this would be the situation in which the slim, beautiful body is useful. Lotus, are you sure? I can sit in it, and you can solve... Junpei's right. If we screw it up... Seven couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. His eyes fell to the floor. Junpei followed them. Beneath them was the dead shark floating underneath the glass. Perhaps it had been killed by an electric shock. I'll be fine. Even if I fall in, the shark is already dead. But... no one likes an indecisive man, Junpei. I can still give you advice from the chair too, you know. I just don't want to stay in this room any longer than we have to. Go over to that screen and let's get this over with. After her words had made it clear that Lotus would book no argument. Book no argument? She turned and walked toward the chair without hesitation. But she did not sit down. Despite what she had said, she did indeed feel hesitation. Her legs shook. Look, do you think you could do me one last favour? Don't say last. You're making me nervous. Just listen. If something happens to me, I want you to tell my daughters. Tell them that I love them very much. No. Tell them that I will always love them. Daughters? You've got kids? Yes, I do. I suppose they're about your age, Junpei. The twins. I had them when I was young. After some things happened. Their names are Nonna and... Wait. Nonna! Junpei's words shot out before he even realised what he was saying. He remembered the story Seven had told him. Aoi, Light and Nonna. Those were the names. Well, some of them. The kids that were there in the experiment, I mean. What the hell? What's wrong with you? Lotus took a step back from Junpei. Oh! Seven looked just as shocked as Junpei. He blinked his eyes rapidly as if he weren't sure if he was completely awake. No way! It couldn't! Lotus, is your last name? Kashiwabara. Lotus's eyes went wide. How do you know that? Are you serious? What the hell is this? There's no way you're that kid's mum. That kid? What do you mean, that kid? Why are you acting like you've met her? Seven's brow furrowed. I have. What? Yeah, I met one of your kids. When? 9 years ago. Where? On this ship. Why were you... It's not a short story. I don't care how long it is. Tell me, please. What happened here? But then why wouldn't she know that her kid went missing? Were they adopted and she was young? Is that what it is? Fine, I'll tell you. Seven glanced at Junpei, then turned back to Lotus and began to speak. It was the same story Junpei had heard only minutes before. Every detail. But... And then... That was when... From there... I can see 4 bodies that were there. It looked like... Just as if... Finally... Actually, use complete sentences, Seven, like you did before. That's all I remember from 9 years ago. At last, Seven finished. Lotus shook her head. Oh my god. Everything I've been looking for the last 9 years. The person who had all the answers was right here. Looking for? Yes, that's right. 9 years ago, my daughters disappeared. Then 9 days later, they came back. They never told me what had happened to them over those 9 years. 9 days. They went away 9 years ago for 9 days. I took them to the doctor, but I was told that they hadn't been hurt in any way. Still, I was sure that they'd been through something terrible. So I couldn't bring myself to force them to talk about it. If I did, then I'd force them to relive whatever horrors they'd been through. I didn't have any choice. I had to try and ignore it and move on. A few moments passed. Gradually, they started to act like they always had, before they disappeared. They smiled and made jokes, and did all the silly things kids do. It got harder and harder for me to ask them about what happened. How could I ask them to remember that? Eventually, there was no way I could do it. But I'm still a mother. I couldn't simply forget about something, that something terrible had happened to my children. So I decided I would investigate what happened on my own. I'd find out what happened during those 9 missing days. What did you find out? Nothing. The police pretended to be concerned, but they didn't do anything. Once the 16 children who'd gone missing came back, things were just... Even the media didn't talk about what had happened. I figured someone was probably paying or threatening them to keep their mouths shut. Cradle Pharmaceuticals. No, probably somebody even bigger than that. Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Have you heard of them before? No, that's the first time I've ever heard of that name. Didn't do much research then. 7. How did you find that Cradle Pharmaceuticals was connected to the kidnappings in the first place? I figured finding out whatever the victims had in common would lead me to the culprit. That's what any good cop does. Oh, by the way, I'm a cop. What do they have in common? Every single one of the kids who disappeared had gone to this one hospital at some point. The hospital was one of a bunch that were under the control of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. After that, it was just about connecting the dots. The hospital. The hospital. For a while, I was trying to get some kind of information out the kids at the hospital. One of them told a weird story. What was it? Something about pee and wee and stuff. It was really gross. Have you heard about the Ganzfeld experiment? I guess all these kids had to go through it while they were at the hospital. I think it was passed off as some sort of counselling. What did you call it again? Oh, the Ganzfeld experiment. This is how it's set up. First, subjects Q and A are put into separate rooms far away from one another. Then a series of video images are shown to subject Q, who is told to send the images to subject A by thinking about them. Subject A, on the other hand, is put in a large reclining chair and given a blindfold. With their senses cut off, A is asked to guess what images Q is looking at. Oh, yes, I've heard of that. It's a famous telepathy experiment, isn't it? Telepathy. That's how the experiment on this ship was supposed to work. The experiment to control people, right? Yeah. I don't know if any of the telepathy stuff really exists. Or maybe someone from Cradle Pharmaceuticals bought into it. Lotus grunted. 7 had been thinking hard for the last several minutes and finally spoke. Even if that is the case, I still don't get how that has anything to do with any of this. The nonary game, 0, why we were kidnapped. What does any of that have to do with telepathy? I know I brought all this up, but I've no idea. Maybe none of this stuff is connected at all. Then in that moment of silence, a cold voice echoed from the ceiling. No subject has been detected. Unless a subject is detected within 60 seconds, all power will be shut down. System recovery is estimated to take 1 hour. If you wish to proceed with the experiment, please seat subject in the restraining device. Whoa, that doesn't sound good. Yeah. Okay, I'm going. Oh no, that's not what we... Just hurry up and get it over with. Junpei, I'm counting on you. Right. Lotus sat down on the chair. Junpei looked at her one last time, then made his way to the monitor. Lotus, please tell me right away if you feel anything weird. You worry too much. Now get on with it and be a man, or June's going to leave you. Lotus was putting on the best act she could, but her legs were shaking so much that if she hadn't been sitting, she likely would have fallen down. Lotus. Failure was not acceptable. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, let's do this. Junpei took one last deep breath and stared at the monitor. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So we've got a left side of the head. Okay. This looks like a problem. Okay, so let's just flip. I mean... Okay. I'm just gonna have to guess this. I just thought putting one on one and the other on two made sense. The experiment was concluded. The door will now unlock. What the fuck? I guess how many options are there with essentially four coin tosses? How do you work that out? Is that like 2 8 factorial or something? Not factorial. I don't know, whatever. I can hear the door unlocking and now we've got a new message. Release subject from restraining device. Lotus, are you alright? She's there, like saliva just kind of bubbling out of her mouth, frothing at the mouth. Yes, I am. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but I do think my life just got a little shorter. Hold on, I'll get you out right away. Shouldn't take long for Seven and me to get her out of here. Let's get out of here now. Being a guinea pig is not for me. Damn straight. I don't ever want to see this thing again. Okay. Out we go. The hallway goes to the left. But I don't see any doors. Guess we just need to keep going. Right, let's go. LFG gamers. It turned left twice before they saw the elevator. An elevator. Just what we need. Let's take this to the C deck. In silence, they jogged up to it. Junpei pushed the C button. The elevator motor ground away, and before long, they found themselves once again on C deck. The door opened and they stepped off. Let's go. Yeah. Junpei, Lotus, and Seven nodded at one another and took off running down the long hallway in front of them. They ran and ran and ran. The hallway seemed endless. I know where we need to go. The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol on the keyhole of that door. And I happen to have the sun key in my pocket right now. This should open that door. That was why they ran to for the central staircase. They'd run for quite some time now when they arrived at the door that ended the hallway. The Jupiter door, Jesus Christ. The Jupiter door, that's hard to say. Say that 3 times really fast. The Jupiter door was already unlocked. It was already unlocked. Let's go. Yeah. Junpei grabbed hold of the doorknob and threw it open. They rushed through and stopped cold. What? The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold. 3 people lay dead on the floor, covered in blood. Why? Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. He couldn't breathe. His legs shook. His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind begin to fade. He couldn't think, he couldn't concentrate. Hang on, where is June? Is June the murderer? He couldn't think, he couldn't concentrate, his mind was blank. What the hell? What the hell happened? Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged toward the bodies, his movements stiff. Clover! He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist. Nothing. She's dead. Suddenly Lotus moved. Before he understood what was happening, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket. Hey, what are you doing? He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified. The key! Give me the sun key! Why? Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back. The murderer? The murderer? The murderer? Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies. Santa, Clover, and Ace. 3 people, 3 dead bodies. That means that the person who killed them was... Uh-oh. No, it can't be true. Give it to me. Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key. Let's go. Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, she ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. Does that mean that they're actually dead, though? Clover might be dead. Is Ace and Santa dead? Soon they stood in front of the door. Open. Lotus shoved the sun key into the keyhole and twisted it hard. But... why? What happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock. Oh no, is it the wrong key? I don't know, maybe. Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. She felt it twist. Uh-oh. A small gap appeared between the door and the frame. It's... open. What the hell is this? You mean the door was already unlocked? Why? How would I know that? Whatever, let's just go. Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. They stepped inside. In front of them was another hallway. It stretched out towards the bow of the ship. They began to run. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. A few seconds later, they were there. In front of them stood a massive metal door. They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke. What the hell is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the fuck are we supposed to open this? We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back. No, I'm not going back there. There's a murderer back there. There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost begging. But I don't see any other doors. As he spoke, Seven stepped forward toward the door in front of them as if to illustrate that it was the only door. Oh, there we go. No way. It opened by itself. It's an automatic door. Look, guys. I've got a really bad feeling about all this. The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's automatic. We haven't seen anything like this before. Bad feeling. How could this situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already dead. We've hit bottom. This can't be any worse. I mean, technically 5 people are already dead, as far as Junpei knows. Shit. Hey, Junpei! He stepped through the door. I can't take this anymore. No one can. And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared. No, it's a lie. It's gotta be. This can't be real. No, it's impossible. If it's a dream, just wake up already. Someone please tell me it's all just a joke. I'm imagining things. Yeah, that's it. That's all. This is all obviously a lie. So is Akane the murderer? Is that what we've revealed here? It's a big elaborate trick, an illusion or something, or a dream. It's made up. It wasn't real, right? June. No, the codenames meant nothing now. Kane. She's dead. Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her side, his heart like a stone in his chest. Kane, hang on. Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. She moaned and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely. Kane. Junpei? Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. Uh-oh. He lifted his hand up. It was covered in blood. Oh man. Kane. There's so much blood. What the heck happened to you? How did this happen? It was all he could do not to break into tears. Junpei, I'm sorry. Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him. I might not make it. No way. I'm not gonna. No way I'm gonna let you die. I'm gonna save you, I promise. Thank you, Junpei. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Junpei. Really happy. Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You've just gotta hang on, alright, Kane? You, what can I do? Damn it. He looked up from Kane, desperate for something, anything. What's that? Then he saw it. A small submarine. A submarine? What on earth is a submarine doing here? No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Kane. That was the only thing he wanted. That's it. Junpei turned his head back to look down at her. Hang on, alright? There's a submarine over there. I'm gonna see if it works. No. Don't go. Please don't go. Please just stay with me, okay? I want to be close to you, Junpei. When I... Kane. Junpei, did you know? You meant a lot to me when we were kids. I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time. Wink. Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realise his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white, hot flame. Junpei, do you remember how we hung out a lot when we were kids? We went to the pool and to the fair. Do you remember playing snowball at the zoo, at the school? With all memories I'll never forget. All of those moments are treasures to me. But I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you, a lot more. But that won't happen now. No, I mean, yes, it will happen. We'll go in all sorts of places, go to all sorts of places, Kane. You hear me? I promise. We'll go wherever you want. Really? Yeah, really, I swear. That makes me happy, really happy. She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face. Junpei, I feel sleepy. No, Kane, don't fall asleep. Thank you, Junpei. Thank you so much. Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed even as he felt his throat go hoarse. Kane! Canny! Canny! She's dead. Is that a different ending? Time passed. Junpei wept, curled around Canny's body. He cried and cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere he heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. Uh-oh. It rang 5 times, then faded. 5 o'clock. Quietly, gently, softly, he set Canny down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. Where'd they gone? Slowly, he looked around the room. There was nothing. No sign that they'd ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly, he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like grinding stone. Junpei passed through the gate and into the hallway. Oh wow. His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood. 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check, there was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Lotus's wrist. Her bracelet, it was gone. He stared, it meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. So I think that Santa must have taken the bracelets, right? Junpei's body felt numb. A part of him knew the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. Tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around, the door opened again, and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion, simple inertia, carried him forward. Eventually, he found himself in front of the submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. And then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. His back was hot. Dimly, he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5. The body of the 9th man. Another lay in the shower room. The body of Snake. At the central staircase were 3 more. Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses. Those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Canny. And now Junpei would join them. Who then had killed them all? Who? Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into a cold, gentle lapping of the water. Is that the end? Yeah. So one of those people, they couldn't have been dead. Probably Santa. Maybe June. Snake is also possible not to have been dead, right? Interesting. Boom. Can I skip this? I guess not. So we found our second ending. And then next time on Borderline Games, we're going to go back and find the other endings and find out who actually killed everybody. Thanks again for watching this episode of 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. And I'll see you next time. I'm just going to wait for these credits to play out, just in case there's a little secret for me. Any secrets? Can you skip it? Skip it. Chibo Shie. Chico Shie. Oh, relation. Frank Beau de Wint II, the second. Karen McCosker. Ben Bateman. So, we also learned that Lotus has children. The end, or is it? Secret bit? They all die by a yellow submarine. Nice. Would you like to save the info you obtained during this playthrough? After saving, the game will restart from the beginning. Please select the save slot. Okay, cool. So that's another ending that we've got. Oh, okay, so that's this ending. So this is a bad ending. Interesting. And then there's this way, which will... Oh, okay, so this is a bad ending. So one of these is the true ending. Maybe this, because we need to open this. Cool. Well, I guess next time I'm going to be exploring that third room. And then we'll be going down here and exploring these. But we'll find out next time on Borderline Games what's next in line for 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.